it's me, Renee. I'm back, and this is my maybe not that late, January wrap up. So January, yeah, I would say it's interesting reading month. I read some great books. I read some DNFs, and I read some books that were kind of in the middle. And yeah, also yeah, if you pay attention, pay attention. Seems like a school teacher's thing to say. If you've watched my January TBR, I suppose probably a better way of doing it. I did try. Well, did try. I did like do the bookworm New Year's readathon, and like first I wrote down the prompts, and then for like okay, I'm gonna find book for this and this and this, but then I just was so moody. But still, like the prompts were so good that I think did a lot of them like without really wanting to. So yeah, that's really good. But I have so many books I have to talk about this month, so I'm simply gonna write down the prompts in doobly-doo and then kind of write the title of the book that fits that. Or I suppose sometimes maybe all of the books fit that, some of them. And I don't know, and then there were some prompts I didn't end up doing, I think. Yeah, there were at least one. So yeah, I'm gonna do that in the doobly-doo. And yeah, let's get to a book, shall we? You're probably interested to see. Let's start randomly, as usual. I don't really want to start from best to worst or from one I read the first. No. I'm just gonna pick a book. Pick a book from the pile. It's not totally random. But yeah, A Rogue of One's Own by Eva Dunmore. So this is the second book in the League of Extraordinary Women novel. So that's what the series is called. It's set in the suffragette era or suffragette time period in the UK. It's set in Oxford, London. Well, I suppose mainly in Oxford because the characters live in Oxford, and it's set in 1880s. So around that time, suffragette time. Well, they move some years. Like each book kind of like takes place over a year more or less, and they have an epilogue like about the future. But yeah, that's mainly like where it's at. And yeah, so this is the story of Lucy. She's one of the older suffragettes in this group of females. Group of females, that sounds weird. Group of women. Group of women. She's one of the older ones, though older in the for that time older because she is honestly 27 in this book. So yeah, like by our standards, that's not that old. It's quite young, really. Well, youngish. But well, youngish. It's young, but in those times, that was a spinster. But yeah, so I read both this and the first book. I'll talk about that one afterwards. And I think I love this. Yeah, actually a bit more than first book. I loved seeing Lucy. Oh yeah, sorry. It's Lucy and her love story, but also like her story. So Lucy, she grew up in a nobility. I kind of tricked you. You think I was going to say aristocrat as well? Can't say it. No, I'm just going to say nobility. She grew up in a nobility household family, but of course, when she was 18, 19, she just kind of got very much into suffragette protesting, and because of that, or demonstrating, because of that, she was thrown out. Because no, females should just be married and have kids. We can't fight for our own lives. No. So yeah, so it's kind of like very much, and she lives on money she inherited from a nice aunt. So if it hadn't been for that, she'll be like totally, totally penniless. But she has some money. But like she's kind of on the outskirts of society because of this, because her family threw her out. But still, she's still nobility, so she's kind of in between. Really, she's not peasant because I mean she did get an education and all that stuff. But yeah. So yeah, she's the like leader of this suffragette group, and she re-meets Tristan, who's actually an old flame, or old friend of the family, I would say, probably a bit better. And yeah, so it's kind of like one of those childhood sweethearts. It's not child, it's people I've met before. It's not necessarily friends to lovers. Okay, they've met before, so they already know each other, and then in this book they become lovers. And I suppose that's spoiler, but it's a romance, so what you expect. But yeah, I just very much loved both the romance in this, but also all the different aspects in it. It was very funny, fun, and emotional, and yeah, just everything. And also, this cover is so beautiful, so beautiful. And yeah, it's been 5 months, 5 minutes. Let's get to next book. But also, yeah, of course, highly recommend this. And then we have a lady sidekick, 50 tired tropes for women by Annika Harry, illustrated by Laura Duckroll. So I'm pretty sure this is written. I'm just kind of check. I'm curious. I think this is written by a British journalist. Yeah, British journalist. So yeah, so it's just kind of like a short, fun, short, interesting read. So it's just kind of a picture of something and then a little text or like a different signal trope. Of course, I liked the concept of it because why else would I bought it? But like, I've kind of felt a bit flat for me. Maybe I'm not so much of a cinephile that maybe I should have enjoyed much more if I watched much more movies. But I do see quite a few movies. But also, I mean, it's not really written that academic. I mean, it's a thin book. It's lots of pictures, so it's not really a book. I think you should have that much need to have that much knowledge before you go into it. Still, somehow it felt like, oh, is that tired? Oh, is it? Is it totally Chicago? Oh, is it? And I haven't heard of that trope. And oh. I suppose, yeah, it's non-fiction book, so like with non-fiction, it's kind of fun to learn something new. But at least with me, when I read non-fiction, I kind of want either. I think it should either be something that I already know something about, that I kind of like expand my knowledge on it about, or it could be something that I don't know anything about, but like I kind of like understand. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I want to say it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just felt like, oh, I just kind of like, oh. So yeah, I did. I think I ended up giving it three stars. So because yeah, kind of in the middle of the road for me anyway, in a way, because it wasn't awful, but it wasn't amazing. So yeah, 3 stars for me. Maybe other people will like it more, but that's how it ended up being in my experience. We have Heroine Haunted. No, sorry, Haunted Heroine by Sarah Kuhn. So I started this back in October. Yeah. I've been very moody lately, so I've started a lot of books that I haven't really finished. But yeah, I finished this book, and yeah, like in October, I just started like the first chapter. Maybe I think maybe 2 chapters. But I liked it, but I wasn't in the mood for it. I don't know why, because it's a very light-hearted book. It's a very light-hearted series. It shouldn't really be that difficult to be in the mood for it, but I wasn't. But yeah, so this month I ended up being in the mood for it. I like picked it up and like was like, you know what, I want to read you. And then I just sat down and read like 2 3 chapters, and like by the time I was in chapter 6, like, oh, this is so intriguing. I suppose it took some time before like the plot really started to move forward in a way. And yeah, it's just I really much enjoy it. It's set in blah blah Evie's alma mater, her college. So her college, they reach out to her and tell her that like, can you come? We have a ghost problem. So she has to come and like let's say so well. She has to come and solve or like investigate this ghost problem. Like, ghosts, are they really real, or is it demons like normal, or what's going on? And then stuff is happening with Evie and Nate's marriage. Sadly, it's kind of rocky-ish. Nate's being very protective of her pregnant of her kid in her stomach. That sounds weird. He's been very protective of the kid. Sounds a bit weird. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, she's pregnant, so he's just so protective of her. So yeah, and yeah, it was just like in the end, it was just so good. And I suppose in a way, I think most of these books actually kind of have a bit more like action. I would say this one had much more character in a way. Like it wasn't that much action; it was a bit more character, and like the mystery wasn't actually solved before like penultimate chapter. So it's like, oh, that took a while. But also, it was kind of fun how it was solved, and it also kind of gave some hints into what could happen in the next book. Because yeah, this is a fourth book, and a fifth book is coming this year. So yeah, so excited for that. And yeah, if you like Asian American superheroes, Asian Americans love stories, kicking ass, check out this series and this book. And yeah. These Witches Won't Burn by Isabel Sterling actually have a a book talk on this one. I'll link that in doobly-doo. So because of that, kind of don't really want to go into it more because yeah, I already talked about it. So yeah, if you want to know about more, check that one out. Also, I suppose just in keywords, great read, really love it. Really want to get my hands on the second book. We have the Happy Ever After playlist, which I also actually have a book to go on. Yeah, it was the 2 book reviews in 1 month. I don't really often do that. Videos for 1 book. Yeah, this month I end up doing it. And yeah, I have a book talk for this one as well. So if you want to check it out, I'll link it in doobly. We have 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. So I've been reading this for quite some while now. And then I saw it last year in a used bookstore, bought it, and then ended up reading it this month. Oh, January, so last month now. Yeah. And yeah, this is a YA parallel universe book. So it's time travel-ish in a way that they go to like a setting that's similar to 1900s, early 1900s Russia, but it's set like in the same time period as now. But just kind of, as also you see there, kind of looks Russian-ish. And they also go to London. They go to New York. Yeah, they go to all these different places. And yeah, I liked it though. Like in the beginning, okay, so a lot of books they kind of start like bang, something has happened. Like they tell you like that was the day my mom died, or like they start like with a bang, like they don't really build up, they just like start there. But like some books, often a lot of books they start with like that was the day my mom died, and then they have maybe a paragraph, maybe a chapter, maybe a page about that, and then they go back in time to kind of give more context to like this earth-shattering, life-changing event. In this book, sound like with a bang, but it just kind of started with a bang and then just kind of moved quickly forward in plot. I was like, oh, like I'm so confused. What? Like I know a lot of people have talked about this before, but, like they were confused with it because they still like enjoyed it. And I also say, yeah, I was confused for a long time, and also I think it's like because very early in the book, this kissing started to happen. And there's like love interest and love issues start to happen. And I'm like, I only just met you. I feel like this is moving so fast. I don't really feel I know you or him or have any stake. So like, so I was actually a bit thinking I might DNF it like early on, but I was still like so intrigued about like the whole idea. So I thought like, okay, I'm just gonna keep on reading. And then at the end, I was like, oh, okay, no, I like how we ended up. I like how we ended up. So yeah, I did all enjoy it. But yeah, beginning I was like, what? I still feel like the beginning wasn't really justified. I feel like the beginning was too fast, too fast paced, really. So I suppose be warned. If you have any interest in reading this, just be warned. But yeah, there's also a trilogy in this series universe. I suppose in a way you could read this as alone because it's more or less resolved. All the plot lines, or most of the plot lines, are resolved. I suppose also can understand how you have more books in this series. So yeah, I already actually ordered a second book, I think, and yeah, so probably might read that later this year. And Bringing Down a Duke by Evie Dunmore. So the first book in that series I talked about earlier in this video. This is based around Annabelle. She's the daughter of a priest, and so she's from the, I suppose, priest in London as well. Okay, she's from countryside, outside of a village she's from a village the country in the US, in the UK. And yeah, but she gets this opportunity to go to Oxford, so that's very good. She's one of the first females who can do that, so it kind of follows her story with that. And also she gets a love story with a duke, so that's quite lovely. And yeah, it's fun to see these two characters butt heads, because they do quite a lot in the beginning. And yeah, just this book is also very, very good. I suppose, why else would I say this series is one of my favorites? I wouldn't really, but yeah, check it out. Have controversial maybe, but yeah, we have How to Catch a Queen by Elsa Cole. So this is the first in a runaway royals series by Elsa Cole. So it's a spin-off series of her. What's the other series called again? Well, let me check it out. She has another series. I know she has another series. Yeah, so it's a spin-off of the Reluctant Royals, which highly enjoy that series. And yeah, so this book, first when I heard about it, was like, oh, another series in that universe, cool. And then I heard about the plot, I was like, I'm not sure the plot is for me, so maybe I'm not gonna pick it up. And then I saw interview with Elsa Cole that she did with Meg Cabot in the fall. And I saw it and thought like, okay, the way you talk about this book makes it sound very good. I'm gonna pick it up. So yeah, I bought it. I slightly had planned to read it in December. Didn't happen. Read it in January. And yeah, so I suppose, as with most Elsa Cole's books, I did read it quickly. I read, I think, over one weekend. I read it in 2 days, 1 day. Yeah, something like that. So I read it quickly. I did. But yeah, my thoughts. I don't know. I like the themes, how the themes of starting over, and how the themes of ruling a country, and the themes of family, the themes of uh this toxic masculinity. I thought that was really interesting. But I don't know. I kind of felt like the story also between them. Those two kind of felt. It kind of felt a bit too fast in a way, or I didn't really feel it. Honestly, I didn't really feel it that much. And then the end was like, oh, because honestly, another thing, I kind of felt like I feel it was good. I feel like the book kind of went like and then suddenly, whoa, and then boom. It's like, so it was just very low intensity for so long, and then suddenly stuff happened, and then it ended. So it was like, I mean, at least in my head, a book should start down there, go quickly up there, and then maybe go up, and maybe a bit down, and then end. But this one just kind of went like, and then up, boom. I was just kind of, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Honestly, I think I might actually give it to charity, because I don't think I'll read it again. I suppose I might do it on audiobook, but I'm not sure if I'll read it again. I'm not sure. So yeah, I do am very excited for next one that's coming out this fall, which is a retelling of the Anastasia Romanoff story. That's very, very cool. about to say the title, which I've forgotten about. So yeah, sorry. But yeah, I do know pretty sure it's coming out this fall. So yeah. Yeah. So I won't give up on the sequel. Just this book disappointed me slightly, sadly. And then we have, let's say, yeah, just gonna make you know. As you're like, oh, but then some books over here as well. Yeah, you see, like nice shit move around. But yeah, and then we have, yeah, we have this arc in Amerikansk Prinsesse, which is one of those times where the title in Norwegian is it's literally translated from English. So the English title is An American Princess. It's by Stephanie Marie Fortin, so it's a historical book based around based around the story of Alice Roosevelt, or based around her life. So Alice Roosevelt was the daughter of blah 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 blah. So it was it was just the daughter of Theodore Roosevelt, which was one of the presidents in the early 1900s. So this one actually it starts in like the 1900s and then it ends in like 1970s. So spent a lot of years. Yeah, sadly, this book, what I think, I felt it had potential, but then just kind of, like a chapter would start like with they were going to this party with a lot of ambassadors, a lot of people, and then it would like be a chapter, a paragraph or two about this, and then they would next paragraph would be like a few months after, next paragraph would be like a year after. Kind of felt like it just kind of went in a way actually quick forward in time, and also like it was just kind of surface level in a way because I suppose and like when people, spoiler alert, but it's a book about a person's life, so you wouldn't, of course, it's gonna happen. But yeah, when people died in this book, you did care. But at the same time, like when people didn't die and just then things didn't happen the way the protagonist wanted it to, I was just kind of like, I don't care. And then something happened with her family, so like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't. Am I supposed to care? Maybe I care a bit, but not that much. So yeah, yeah. So this one, and also like I start like the first and second chapter. I was like, oh, so good. And then of course I like added all of Stephanie Thornton, Mary Thornton's books to my TBR, and now I'm like, hmm. Do I want to read more books by her? But then again, I mean, authors they have often authors have like different books that like some books are meh and some books are good. So I shouldn't give up on author just because of one book. And I think this might be her debut. I'm not quite sure. I think it may be her debut. I'm not quite sure. I think it might. I think it's one of her first books. Anyway, those like when the author is in like has written the first or second book, they're still kind of allowed to make poor writing judgments here and there. At least in my mind, like if you've written 200 books, it's like are you still bad? Like in the beginning, I can understand it. But yeah, this book let me down, sadly. Yeah, and so this is the part of the video whole wrap up where I talk about books that let me down. So another arc, lit 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 Aventide, or Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. So yeah, it came out last year. It was talked about a bit last year. Yeah, I'll say it's talked about quite a lot last year. But it's non-fiction. It's not. Sorry, it's a fiction book set in Pennsylvania. I suppose big city. Don't really think it matters that much which big city. Yeah. So it's set around like so Mira Tucker. She's 25. She's finished high school. She's finished high school, but also college. She's not really sure what she wants to do with her life. She's taking like small jobs here and there, and she ends up being a nanny for a 2-year-old. 2-year-old, yeah. Sorry. Amira, she's African American, black. And yeah, so one day in the beginning of the book, she gets called by her employer, telling her that she needs to go to work now, and this is in the evening. So she's Amira, the protagonist, is she's at a friend's birthday party. So she's not really. I mean, she has her own dress and all that stuff, makeup and all that stuff. So she doesn't really look professional, though. What is professional looking? I mean, can't you look professional and have a dress on? But yeah. So yeah, she ends up getting the kid, and then they go to a store because the kid likes to go to the store to just kind of watch stuff. And then very quickly, one of the other customers tells the security, like, I think something's wrong here. And then the security comes over like, ma'am, is this your kid? Ma'am, is this your kid? And then it's a whole thing like, is she kidnapping the kid? She says she's a nanny, but he doesn't believe her. She gets the dad of the kid to come over and like, this is my nanny. So yeah, that creates like a bit of to-do. And that's kind of like starting the point of this book. So yeah, the book kind of goes into racism and also classism and isms. Well, I suppose those two isms, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And yeah, I think more or less everyone I've talked to, like, I know, really, really much enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. So, and also I was kind of unsure, like, is this because I'm Norwegian? Or because I had MDL? Because I kind of felt like some stuff kind of went over my head. But if that's a cultural thing or that's a MDL thing, so I actually Googled and like checked a review for it in a Norwegian paper, and they said they really enjoyed it, even though like some part of it was kind of like American focused, but it's an American book, so kind of obvious. But yeah, sometimes when you write a book for your own, I suppose, when you write a book, you kind of think of your own culture and your own thing, and then sometimes it gets translated, and sometimes the translation works, and sometimes it doesn't because culture differences and stuff. And yeah, so the review I read said that he really enjoyed it, though not all the aspects could be applied to Norwegian society and stuff. But he did enjoy it. With me, well, yeah, I did finish it, and I did not enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it very much. Like it didn't rock my world, Sally. It did not. So yeah, let's just leave it at that, and then yeah. Also, a minute. We're just gonna fix something. I'm back. Yeah, and then the next one is also sadly a bit disappointing, but it is Hourglass, or also Norwegian arc, Timeglasse, by Tracy Reese. So Tracy Reese is blah 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 blah. Yeah, she's an English historical historical author. She reads, well, probably as well. She writes historical romances, historical books. I suppose often they have romance in it as well. But yeah, so this one, it's set both in modern day or both in 2015, but also like flashbacks to 1950s. And yeah, it's very character based, I would say. So, like, if you don't like character based books, don't pick it up. I like these characters, but I felt like it was very character based. So I would say a lot of the book was very slow, and it was interesting, but like I wouldn't really say anything really happened before like maybe like halfway honestly in the book. It's like it's a bit long before stuff really starts happening. Like at least in my point, like in my head, I think like a book is it's fine if it's slow, but like something big should happen early in the book, middle, and then the end. At minimum, probably more. This like stuff just didn't really happen because before like halfway point, and then more stuff happened. But yeah, and yeah, in the end, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, and I suppose I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it. It was it was a decent. I would say maybe like just simply say it's decent reading experience. It wasn't all that. It's not really gonna live in my memory really that long, sadly. The last book, because I read one other book by Tracy Reese, also read Dear's Blue, which I was pleasantly surprised by. I really loved it. This one, no, I can't say I did, sadly. So yeah, and then we have another book that I was disappointed by, though I wasn't that disappointed by. But yeah, also these books are kind of, just so you know, are all books like these books I'm going to talk about now. From now on out, are books that I've read but are going to charity because they weren't that good. And yeah, so we have "Surprise Me" by Sophie Kinsella. I was about to say Kinsella Sophie. sorry, but yeah. So this is adult romance, women's literature, chick lit romance, maybe. Yeah, it's an adult story anyway. Okay, so it's a story based around a marriage, and they're in their 30s. They've been together for 10 years. They go to this doctor in the beginning of the book. The doctor tells them, "Oh, you're both in so good health. You could probably end up living till you're 110, or like 100." Like, oh, cool. And then I start thinking, 60 more years, like 80 more years with this person? Isn't stuff gonna become boring? And of course, stuff happens. I would say like it's good, but in my mind at least, I felt like I'm not sure if this is true thing, if it's because I haven't really read that many books set in a marriage, like during a marriage, like after we met and all that stuff. Or if it's because Sophie Kinsella, but usually Kinsella, she writes books like when a couple meets in the beginning and they get together during the book. Here the couple has already met, so they don't really get that whole like meeting, whole cutesy fun meeting and stuff. So yeah, I didn't love it. Can't say I hated it, but didn't really love it that much. I laughed at it like twice, but laughed not at it, but like in it. I had some fun jokes. But like, and also like the book had like maybe 2 or 3 plots, and I would say I'm more or less only interested in one plot, so that's sad really. So yeah, I'm not gonna read it again. So giving it to charity. Then we have another DNF, sadly. Bookish Boyfriends. The next boy story. So this is the second in the Bookish Boyfriend series. It's a companion series, so I don't really think you need to read them all. But yeah, like I was very into contemporaries a few months ago, so I ordered a lot of contemporaries. I'm kind of slightly still in a bit of contemporary mood, so yeah, I picked this one up. Though I suppose this is a contemporary magic realism thing, where it's like supposed like the characters from the book or something comes to life. Like yeah, I DNF'd after maybe like 50 pages, maybe I think maybe I gave it actually 100 pages, and by that time, not that much had happened really. I didn't really feel that interested in the characters really. So I felt like it's a contemporary book, and as with most contemporary books, the characters are very important. It's not that much world building in a way, but yeah. So if you don't really care about the characters, what's the point of reading? So yeah, I DNF'd it. I do still actually own blah 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 this one because I bought these two at the same time. But yeah, as I said, it's a companion series, so it's the same universe but different character. So hopefully I'll enjoy this one more. And also, fourth, there's next one actually in the series anyway, coming out later this year with a gay love story. Yeah, sorry, they're all love stories. With a gay love story, based on Sherlock Holmes. So that sounds very cool. So definitely want to check out that one. Me being so weird, checking out books in a series where I don't like the one book. Well, sometimes one book is bad, the other are good. So yeah. And then we Yeah. We have Empire of Gold. So I read this one in January, in the beginning of January actually. Well, let's say, did I read this maybe? Did I read this one in December? January? December? I'm suddenly not sure. Have I talked about this one before in wrap up? I can't. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, it's going to charity. All in all, I like this trilogy, but like when I picked it up, like it was because everyone more or less on BookTube and BookTunet and like everywhere talked about this book series so much. Like they all raved about it and they loved it. It changed their lives, and I thought like, oh, okay, then I'll want to check it out, see how it is. I read the first book. I felt they had lots of potential, and I really enjoyed lots of parts of it. Second book was a more slow-paced and tedious, and but it was still good here and there. And then the third book, I suppose, I think maybe the third book's I think my favorite. Like I love the first book. Third book is very good, and then second book. I think that's kind of how I want to qualify them or like rank them. But still, I don't really think I'll read it again. At the same time, like if someone made a movie out of this series, it would be so cool. But reading it again, I kind of felt like in a way, I felt like this series had a lot of characters and it had big world building, but you didn't really get to see enough of it. And like also you had lots of time jumps, and it didn't really do it in a good way. I felt like in a way. So yeah. So yeah. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. And then, just so you know, another interesting fact. So, S.H. Chakraborty, author of this, she's coming out later this year with a book based off Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. I want to check that one out, even though this one disappointed me. So, yeah, I'm so logical. But, I mean, it's good they give books offers new chances, isn't it? I think it is. Hate it. So yeah. Then we have The Reader by Tracy Tree. So I think honestly I DNF this one as well. Yeah, as well. I didn't DNF that one, but yeah, I DNF this one. I got halfway through it, and I suppose in a way I could have read all of it because I didn't hate it. Halfway through it, I was kind of like I kind of felt like it was too many characters in a way, and I didn't really like how at times it's very violent, and I don't really like that much. I didn't know that coming in, and also, yeah, I just kind of felt like, yeah, oh yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, halfway through, and there was a lot of mysteries, and still didn't know, like, yeah, a book should have mysteries, yeah. But at least in my head, I think like a book should start with a lot of mysteries, a lot of questions, and then answer them a bit, and then give you new mysteries. This book didn't really give you any answers by halfway point. I'm like, by halfway, I want some answers. You didn't really get it here. You got lots of new questions, but you didn't get answers to the old ones. So, yeah, yeah. Sadly, this is DNF for me. But yeah, I suppose, yeah, they all can't be for you, can they? I suppose maybe it's in a different writing style. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's like something cultural thing that's I'm not getting. I don't know, but yeah. Well, I suppose lastly, not lastly, but more or less lastly, we have, well, the last physical book, Fireborn, also sadly a DNF. So I had this actually on my radar, well, actually on my TBR the whole of last year. I bought this in 2019, planned to read in 2019, didn't happen. And then I ended up, picking up this month. Well, this month that was just ended. And yeah, I like the concept of it, but so the writing style was just so meh. And like, if your writing style is just, at least for me, I'm not going to force myself to read because the writing style, it like flows through all of the book. Like, book has bad characters or bad plot. I suppose like some plot lines can be bad and then other can be good. But bad writing is all over the book. So it's like, if that's bad, I don't really get how you, I suppose you can use sometimes, but this writing was meh, and I didn't really care that much about the characters. I did give it 3 chapters, but I feel like, honestly, I feel like you should really care about the characters from the first chapter, or at least be very intrigued from the first chapter, or at least from the second chapter. And if you're not, I'm like, no, no, no. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for books that waste my time. Well, in a way, not waste my time, but like, they take really their very slow books in some ways. And yeah, like, if you don't really care about the book, well, if you don't really care about the character before like a quarter or like halfway into a book, I'm like, what? 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 Yeah. I mean, because then you just have half a book that you care about the character. Of course, yeah, often that's in series and stuff, but still, even though it's not standalone, you should be invested in character from the very start. So yeah. And yeah, also I just said like it's the end. It's actually not the end. It's almost the end. Cheat sheet here and double check. Blah 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 blah. Hmm. Interesting. But yeah, I do know like here I just saw one of them, but there's two. But yeah, so I also listened to The Dream by Agatha Christie. It's a short story. It's a short story with Hercule Poirot. And yeah, that was very enjoyable. Yeah, Poirot rarely lets me down, and yeah, that was very good. I very much enjoyed it. So that was a good experience this month. Yeah, as I said, bad and good experience in 1 month. And I also actually finished Sleeping Murder by Agatha Christie on audiobook. It is one of the it's actually one of the later or one of the last books in the Miss Marple series. This one, actually, Miss Marple doesn't really come in until like a few chapters in the book, but it's still interesting. And yeah, it's actually like about a mystery. Something happened like 20 years before like the plot happens. So it's kind of like, I suppose, a cold case way. And yeah, I very much enjoyed it. It was very cool. Like, also like two protagonists were actually from New Zealand, and that was kind of fun to like have that accent in audiobook and stuff. And yeah, it was very intriguing. Very, I suppose, as with best Agatha Christie books are. I could not guess who the protagonist, who the murder was at all. And for a long time, you didn't really know anything at all. So yeah, it was just very, very cool, very fun mystery. And yeah, that's my wrap up of January. And yeah, if you have any thoughts on any book or want to talk to me about it, please talk to me in comments. And I'll see you later. Bye. Yeah, I forgot 2 books. So yeah, it's become even longer. It's just these 2 books. So yeah, first we have A Love a la Mode by Stephanie Kate Strum. Strum? 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 Yeah, something like that. It's a lovely, sweet romance set in Paris. Only I'm Egypt. Yeah, it's set in Paris. So it's set in this cooking school. It's an international school, so people from all over the world come here. It's a Swedish guy. It's kind of fun. And then there's an English girl. There's 2 or 3 from the States. There's one from Senegal. Yeah, people from all over. And yeah, so the protagonist, well, actually, it's a lovely story where there's 2 protagonists, so they're 2 love interests. They have shared dual point of views, so every other chapter is Richard's point of views. And so Rosie, she loves to bake, but she can't really cook. But she still goes to this cooking school because it will give her some experience. And Henry, he loves to cook. He can't bake. So yeah, kind of fill each other out. And yeah, it's just a lovely, sweet story. I would say that here and there felt a bit like what? Felt a bit contrived, like for the twist it took. Like that seems a bit weird to do it like that. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I would say like if you in a mood for YA book set around books I would say set around food in Paris, check it out. And then we have a book that actually also DNF'd. It is Poderosa, the Sergio Klein. So yes, you can see it's a book in Spanish. They actually kind of I thought first it was like in Spanish, like by a Spanish version, and then I checked, and it's actually the first. It's originally actually in Brazilian. It's originally actually in Portuguese, so it doesn't really matter that much because the version I have is Spanish. But yeah, so this is actually my oldest book on my TBR. I got it from my mom in 2011, I think, maybe 10, I think maybe 11, around there. So around 10 years. And yeah, so yeah, I do speak Spanish, and I have read some books in Spanish. I have another When You Planned. I haven't gone around yet, but yeah, I've run When You Planned with that theme in mind. Yeah, I kind of wanted to get to it finally. So yeah, and yeah, so the issue wasn't that I couldn't read it because it was Spanish. It was like I read mostly English, so like when I read Spanish, it takes a bit time to get used to it. But like when I get used to it, it's not that difficult to like get into it really. But honestly, okay, so the protagonist in this one is 14, and like the idea is that she's 14, she can write stuff, and if she writes stuff, the things she writes it becomes true, like kind of like ink art. Like she can write uh, a cup of coffee, and then she has a cup of coffee in her hand. So that premise sounds so cool. I read like I think maybe read 2 chapters. There was no mention of the power so far. Well, it was hinting at foreshadowing, but didn't really happen. So like it was a slow start. But in addition to that, it kind of felt in a way like it was written a bit childish. Like okay, so she was talking about how she got her first period. Well, no, she was talking about how she didn't have a period and she wanted to get a period because she wanted to be an adult. And I suppose, yeah, having a period, it's something, well, for your first times off, it's something that females or people that have period can, non-gendered people or non-binary people can relate to in a way. But still, it kind of has to be written in a way that's relatable or interesting and entertaining when you're 28. And yeah, it just fell flat for me. It fell flat. Even it being in Spanish, I mean, maybe I should have finished it because just to update or just kind of like keep up my Spanish. But yeah, no, no, no. I have a few other books in Spanish I can use for that purpose. So this one, no, no, no. Sadly, I DNF'd it. So I'm thinking I might give it to charity. Or like I suppose charity to give this one to charity in Norway. If people take it, I suppose I could. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm not finishing it, and I'm not gonna give it myself. That's definitely not, because I need space for my own books. So yeah, that's that, and that's my dear friends. That's oh, sorry, I was about to say that is the finish. No, it's actually not. It's actually almost finished. And so I actually have one more book to hold. It's an audiobook, so it's not here somewhere. But yeah, it's actually a Norwegian book. Norwegian, so a bit of a varied in a way. This whole rap. So yeah, I blah 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 blah. Yeah, I actually started this audiobook back in November. I think maybe in November, and then have end up pushing it like to the side, and then picked it back up in January. But yeah, it's Sorry, it's a Norwegian mystery book by Hans Olav Lahlum. Some of these books are translated actually to English and other books in other in other stores. Sorry, and other languages, but this is the latest one. So far it's not translated. Well, it's the next to latest one. Next to latest one. It's called Isbjörn or the Ice Bear, and at the center of it is this kidnapping story. And since it's a murder, you kind of think, okay, since it's a mystery book, you kind of think, oh, soon we're gonna find out that the kidnapper kidnapped, which actually is a 14-year-old, is dead. You're just so scared the whole time. I'm gonna spoil you because I'm gonna be mean, but actually, the kid is alive. But there's all other twists as well in the book, and it's just done very well indeed. So yeah, when it comes out in English, check it out. Hans Olav Lahlum's books. He's just writes very good books. And yeah, I think that's it, my friends. Also, yeah, I suppose just mention really that I actually have now gone on. I actually decided to just delete my Goodreads. I did that today. I didn't want to do the whole Bezos and Goodreads thing anymore, really. So yeah, I have Storygraph now. Storygraph, you can find my Storygraph with same name as here, Librarian of Alexandria. If you want to check me out, do that. I just got a Storygraph in like January, December, so it's still, I suppose, in a way, early days, and it's Storygraph itself is kind of still early days. But yeah, I'm there if you want to check me out. And